Agents don't usually turn down piano vocalists because they can't play. They usually turn them down mainly because of their song list. Maybe you've put together a song list, sent it off with your promo video, and heard nothing back. And the frustrating part is that you know you're good enough, you know you can play, you know you're worthy of getting the job or the gig. And so it's very easy to assume that maybe you're the problem, your appearance or your playing or your promo video, when in reality it's actually what's in your song list. I've spoken directly with the agents making these kind of decisions. I've also worked for an agency recruiting piano vocalists and other musicians. And repertoire is one of the first things they screen for, sometimes even before they even watch your video. And this is one of the things that can literally make or break your application in 2 seconds. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through what actually needs to be on your song list so that it can get past that first screen, the genres that matters, the ones that don't, and the mistakes that could cost you a callback. And even if cruise ships specifically are not your goal, what I'm talking about here also helped me get gigs on land. And the fact that I had such a huge repertoire of the right songs really helped me get to the top of the list when some musicians don't even hear back because they don't have the right kind of songs. So all of it that I'm going to share in this video also applies to land gigs and building a repertoire in general. Before we get into it, if you're watching this video because you're thinking of working on cruise ships and you want to know whether this is the right fit for you, feel free to grab the free self-check guide I made specifically for you, which is just down below, and then you can come back to this video. And so what happens when you don't have the right songs on your song list is that an agent will just look at the song list that you just sent in the email, they'll scroll down, they'll think there's not enough, or the songs are just not right, and they'll close it and they'll just forget about it without even replying to you. And so of course this can happen with your promo video, it can happen with your song list, it can happen with just like how professional you were by sending the email or how you're coming across on your video. But this is the kind of mistakes we're really going to try to avoid, because what we want is to have a response. Even if your promo material is not perfect, we want a response. We want an agent to say, hey, you're 80% there, but there's this 20% you can work on to make your material even stronger. But the problem is if your list is completely off, they won't even bother replying to you. So I'm going to talk about being a piano vocalist or a guitar vocalist on a cruise ship because it's very, very similar whether you're one or the other. If you want to have a good song list that will get agents to think, hey, that's the person we need, you need to have a big song list. That like the more songs you have, the better, because you need to keep in mind that when you're going to be working on the ship, or even if it's a hotel residency or even gigs on land, you will probably have to perform for hours, or at least 1 hour or 2. And if you have a very small song list, how are you going to perform this many hours? The second reason why it's so important to have a huge amount of songs in your song list is if the guests or the passengers or the customers, wherever you're playing, want a specific song and that you have a big song list, there's a small chance that you can actually play that for them, that you can maybe take requests. I personally really think that music is a question of taste. Like not everyone likes what you're going to be playing, and that's always a risk for the booker or for the agent when they're booking you, because we always know that there will be customers or passengers that will not enjoy your music. But if you have a huge versatility in what you can play, then you're able to please much more people. And I don't like to think this way about my own music and stuff. I really think individuality and being an artist, being who you are without trying to please others, is the most important thing. However, when you are getting paid for playing, for performing, what the agent or the booker is thinking about, whether it's gigs on land or whether it's gigs on cruise ships, is are the guests going to enjoy it? Are the customers, the passengers going to enjoy your music? And the more versatility you have, the more likely they will be to enjoy your music, because the more you're going to be able to adapt in real time to what people want by asking them or just by seeing the vibe of the room. And if you only have 40 songs, it's going to be very difficult for you to pick the right songs in the moment, to pick an older song, for example, if you have an older crowd, to pick a French song, for example, if you have a French crowd, or to pick a very recent song if you have a 6-year-old in the audience that really wants you to play it. All of this said, I would really recommend you to get at least 150 to 200 songs in your repertoire if you want to be a piano vocalist on cruise ships, but also on land. That really gets you to stand out from other musicians if you have this amount of songs that people can pick from or that you can choose and adapt to the moment. Now, what should be in your song list? What genres, what kind of songs? I would really recommend to have songs from the 50s to the 2010, even up to like 2020, songs that cover all decades, emphasizing the songs from the 60s to the year 2000. Because most people that you will be playing for, they're gonna be adults and they're going to be over 25 years old. I would also recommend having different genres like pop, rock, country, soul, a bit of blues and rock and roll, especially if you're a piano vocalist. Being able to do a little bit of soloing, even if you're just using the blues scale, is a huge advantage as well. And you really want to pick international hits and crowd pleasers. So the kind of songs that will be known in the US, but also in China and also in Sweden. On the piano, I would really recommend learning some Elton John, some ABBA, some Billy Joel. Taylor Swift is huge in the US, all over the world as well. Alicia Keys, Amy Winehouse. Now, if you're watching this and you're thinking that you'd like the list itself without having to think through each song to know whether it's actually right for the application you're trying to make, this is something that is included in the course I created for musicians who want to get work on cruise ships. There's a full master song list where you can pick the songs that you want, and all these songs are really good for cruise ships and even for land gigs. And so in 5 minutes you can get the work done when it might take you hours and hours and a lot of uncertainty to do it yourself. So here's a little bit about the course How to Become a Cruise Ship Musician. If you're interested, it puts it all together, how to apply, my full song library so you don't have to format all the songs when you're learning the 150 songs. And I'm giving you all the insider knowledge that's available nowhere on the internet, and that might save you months. And so if you are interested, the link is below. Go and have a look, and if it suits you, I'd be really happy to have you in the course. I would also really recommend to get songs that are slower, so like ballads, love songs, and also songs that are much more entertaining. So if you're on the piano, really be careful with the way you use the sustain pedal, because that can really lower the vibe of everything you play. Even if you're playing some, like for example, Can't Take My Eyes Off of You, if you play it with the chords, holding the chords down, it can be really slow and sound really chill when you actually want to get it to sound a little bit more like party. So I would really recommend being very light on the keys, and I think that applies also to guitar if you're playing guitar, so that in the way you play and in the repertoire that you're offering, which will also reflect in your promo video, we can see that you have lots of different genres and that you're able to get people to feel strong emotions and to even cry when you're playing slow ballads or love songs, but that you're also able to get them to stand up and dance and have so much fun. The goal for your song list really is to get people to recognize the songs that you're playing. And this is why I keep saying that you don't have to be the most amazing musician to work on cruise ships, because your song list is a huge part of it. For example, if you're playing Hallelujah and everybody can sing along, or if you're playing Let It Be That by the Beatles and that everyone is singing along with you, they're going to enjoy the moment regardless of whether you have the most amazing voice in the world. So picking these sing-alongs where people can sing with you and not always having to play them whenever you're doing the gig or the contract on cruise ships, but just having them in your repertoire so that if people ask for it, then you can play it. And if you want to get a vibe going with everybody singing along, you can also pull one of these. Now, the songs that I would avoid are the songs that are super niche, that are only known in your area or your country, and the songs that you love deeply but that nobody will recognize. I would also skip songs that are too slow and that really bring the energy down, because even if some songs are extremely beautiful, if they're slow, they're probably not adapted to the kind of environment where you want to be playing on cruise ships. Of course, that depends. If you are playing in a moment where you're kind of background and you're not like on the main stage or whatever, that can be good, that can be adapted to the atmosphere. But I would recommend keeping the songs at least a little bit high energy. And for example, there's, like Bob Dylan, the song Blowing in the Wind, which is quite a slow song. I would definitely play this because people love it so much. But if I think, for example, about Eric Clapton, which by the way is really good to have in your set list, Eric Clapton, if you put like Tears in Heaven, if you put this song, like every time I was playing it, I could feel like the energy going down, because it's such a beautiful song, but it's not a song people would sing along to, and it's also a song that's very slow and very sad. And so I would tend to take these away from your song list if you want to work on cruise ships or international hotels, or even to do residencies in hotels, etc. And so how do you know if your repertoire, if your song list has these problems? I would really look at the versatility and being really honest with yourself. So here are a few things that you can check with your current song list to see if there's any work to do or not. The first thing is, how many songs do you have? Whether it's your own songs or covers, like how many is it in total that you have? Even if you count the ones that I said you should avoid, how many songs do you have in total? If it's above 100 or 150, you're in a good place. If it's below that, I would recommend trying to stretch that and trying to learn more. That's the first thing. The second thing is, what is the decades of the songs that you have? Is it all in the 50s or all after the year 2000? If it is all in one place, I would really recommend trying to spread that and learn new songs so that we can look at your song list and think that you're very versatile in the generations you can connect with by playing the songs that they know. So that's the second thing, decades and year of release of these songs. And the third thing would be, are these songs internationally known? Would people from different continents relate and know these songs when you're playing them? This is what will make a really strong song list. And the last thing would be, are most of your songs not only recognizable but also high energy? Or if they're lower energy and slower, are they the kind of songs that people would sing along to? Because if they're slower and nobody would really sing along to them or know them, I would take them away from the song list. So I hope these 4 checks will help you figure out what you need to focus on next. So I hope that what you take away from this video is that what songs you have on your song list is extremely important, whether you want to work on cruise ships or to apply for gigs on land. And I really recommend that you take some time and put this together. The last thing I would really advise you to do is to make it look nice, to sort it by decades. You don't have to put anything more than the title, the artist, and the decade. If you want, you can put the genre, but I tend to think that the genre is always a little bit ambiguous. Is this pop? No. Is it actually rock? No. And people don't agree, so that's why I would just put the decade on the song list and format it this way in the right professional way and send that to agents. Inside the course, there's also a song list builder so that you can put your song list and it will generate the whole song for you so that you don't have to do it and spend hours on Google Docs trying to make it look nice. If you're enjoying this kind of content about how to be a musician on cruise ships or how to get paid well with gigs on land, feel free to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell down below. I post twice a week, and let me know in the comments how many songs you have currently in your song list, and is that something you're working actively towards? I'd love to hear about it, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much.